Welcome to another NeverEndingPanel.com. I am Donnie Collin, your moderator. Next to me is Charles Lee Jackson II. Next to Charles is Arlene Satin. And next to Arlene Satin is my brother, Eitan Collin. Tonight's topics are 2012. We're going to talk about, why the big fuss about all the destruction and what it means. Also, we're going to talk about whether it's a campy TV show or a classic, what defines them both. And then finally, we're going to try to figure out, is Mission Impossible in fact science fiction or just an action adventure? So I'm going to open up with 2012, and the first question I'm going to ask our panelists is, and I wrote it out here, too often our views of the end of the world are relegated to widescreen surround sound status. But I think there could be far more insidious things than stuff that goes boom. How about you guys?
Absolutely. When it comes to the end of the world, it doesn't have to blow up. The world can go out with a whimper. Sometimes the world could go out with a truly gentle velvet glove. I would love to see an end of the world story where everybody gets what they want. One of the devil, if you remember that old Twilight Zone episode, the guy goes, I want to go to that other place. And the devil, and the guy who's been giving everything he wants says, you're in that other place. Well, I would love to see a 2012 like that, where the world thinks, hey, this is cool. This is the greatest thing ever. And then about a third of the way through the book, the movie, the TV episode, you realize these people are truly, really, they're just, this is harsher. It would have been better off if a meteor just smacked the planet and taken it out.
You looking at me?
Yeah. Yeah, you talking to me? Yeah, we're talking to you, Arlene.
I don't know. It just seems to me that, yes, it could go out with a whimper instead of a bang, and there are some people who believe that it's going to happen when people are sleeping and we just disappear off everything. But then there are those who, it's human nature to believe in the worst that could possibly happen. It's just something that we always do, hence the disaster movies that are all made about things like this. Earthquakes, fires, ships flipping upside down, people getting killed. It's just our nature to believe that those things are possible over something very in the middle of the night on you, and all of a sudden everything's gone.
So you're not enraptured with that second?
I don't know. It just seems to me that if you look at some of the things people are talking about as far as 2012 are concerned, some of them are the disasters. Some of them are about everything being destroyed or a big change. There's the thing about the
poles reverse.
Magnetic poles, thank you.
Magnetic poles reversing.
Flipping, thank you. Earthquakes and being hit by a meteor and destroy,
Right. And that's essentially the essence of the question. That's all we get. But I
that's
think
not all we get, though.
Right. But I think there are more interesting ways to end the Earth, and I'm just trying to figure out what they might be.
There's another faction that believe that this isn't about disaster, that it isn't about us all being killed and only a small fraction of humanity existing.
And
the other part believes it. Oh, you want me to wait?
Don't give away the second question.
We've only got 10 minutes.
Then let Charlie talk.
There's an episode of Twilight Zone where there's a guy that's been convicted, sentenced to death. He's sitting in his cell, and he spends the entire episode trying to persuade his jailers, his lawyer, anybody he can talk to, that when he dies, the world will cease to exist. And they don't believe him. Except that the longer he insists on it, the more unsure they are. But they never quite get to the point, and at the end of the episode, he's taken away and executed, and everybody's standing around going, oh, well, he's dead, and we're not, and they all fade to black, and it's the end of the world. So that's pretty whimpery.
Yeah. I kind of think that, and I love this movie, and it certainly wasn't presented as an end-of-the-world movie, but Groundhog Day, to a certain extent, was an end of the world in which the world didn't continue. And I thought that was an interesting, and in other words, I think I was sort of leading to that, even though I was lead witnesses, that would be an interesting way that, the world maybe comes to an end by the fact that it doesn't continue. Those are the kind of things I really look for in science fiction.
You fade to black.
Kind of fade to black, but it's not that it went boom, it's just that it ended, and it never kept going forward. That seems to be a little bit more insidious. I would love to do that, Soundman
But
Tim?
how would we know?
Any suggestions?
Well, there was the second season of the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, which the world evidently God is this self-centered middle school girl, and everything which she wants to have happen kind of happens, but she doesn't know it, and they can't tell her. And the other characters have sort of realized this, and so in one of the in that second season they get stuck in a time loop, and for 8 episodes they repeat the exact same thing, redrawn in different perspective, for 8 episodes. It's the most painful thing ever to watch. Eventually, if you skip to episode 9, they do eventually resolve it. But that is sort of kind of an end-of-the-world sort of story. Nothing in the world happens until she is convinced that she wants summer to end.
Got it.
I wish it was Christmas every day. And it was Christmas every day. And after a few weeks of this, people are going, God, I'm tired of snow.
Right.
I don't have any money to buy presents.
Right.
The stores aren't open anymore.
Right.
We're starving.
That's what I liked about it, what Eitan was talking about, that essentially, what if the end of the world was everybody getting everything they wanted?
Yeah.
I mean, and that, that's a great line just for, I could pitch that book any day of the week. Don't take it. Yes, Hare.
Well, I may throw a monkey wrench in this whole thing, but the original stone tablet that started this 2012 thing, they set the date and everything, but there was a chunk missing. When they found that chunk, they found out that everything was off. What's supposed to happen in 2012 is already passed. It's over with. So if anything was going to happen, it's supposed to have already happened.
But you can't make a movie on that.
Would that have been when the second George Bush was elected?
I was going to say, yes. A lot of people were saying George Bush was that, in fact. But all right, so yeah.
And this thing has actually been going on for quite. In the 80s, there's a Matt Helm novel. It's like the third or fourth from the last one, where Matt Helm has an assignment. He goes down to South America, to this little fictional country, and finds a sacred area and a temple stone and things like that, and actually has a vision quest dream of the end of the world from one step back, from when the South American people said, okay, this is the last day of the world, so they all march up and open their stomachs up and cut their hearts out and all die. And Matt Helm in the dream is being attacked because he and some cute babe, being a Matt Helm book, decide they're not going to do this, so they are forced to do it. But it wasn't any kind of, for the previous cycles, it wasn't any catastrophe. It was just, it's time, let's do it. But as I understood it, there were supposed to be 4 cycles, and at the end of each of the first 3, civilization ended, and at the end of the 4th one, everything ends.
Well,
Right.
What is it about human beings? Jim Jones got 900 people to basically drink the Kool-Aid, literally.
Please, Flavor Aid. Kool-Aid doesn't like you to say that.
Okay. There's something about us that just likes the apocalypse, and sometimes we'll even drive towards it. Sometimes we'll just drive off the cliff towards it. Nope, just want to
Which
throw that
leads
out there.
beautifully into my next